Right, in this video we're looking at these three equations of lines and we're going to try and work out what the gradient and the y-intercept are. Now, from a previous video you should hopefully know that the general formula or the general sort of linear graph equation is y equals mx plus c, where the m is the gradient, right, and the c is the y-intercept. Okay, so that you should already know. Now, at the moment, we want everything to be in this form, y equals mx plus c, but this here isn't in that form because there's three y's and I only want one y. So what I'm going to do to get my 3y down to 1y is I'm going to divide by 3, because if I divide 3 y's by 3, I'm left with 1y. So that leaves me with 1y, but if I divide that by 3, I've got to divide everything else by 3. Now, 2 divided by 3 isn't very nice, but fortunately with this, you can leave it as a fraction. All right, 6 divided by 3 is 2. Don't forget the minus. So the gradient of this line is 2/3, and the y-intercept is minus 2. Don't forget the minus there in front of the 2. Remember the sign goes before the number goes with that number. So there you go. Now, the second one, a little bit trickier because I've got the x bit on the same side as the y bit, and I don't want that. I want the y bit on its own. I want everything else on the other side. I only want one y. So how am I going to get rid of that 3x? Well, I get rid of that 3x, that plus 3x, by taking it away. I don't want it, so I'm going to get rid of it by taking it away. And so I'm left with my two y's on their own, and I've got 12 take away 3x. Okay? Now, again, I've got two y's. Where I had three y's over here, I've got two y's here. So you've probably guessed we're going to divide by 2. So y equals 6, take away, and I'm going to leave it as a fraction again. If you wanted to put 1.5, that's absolutely fine, or 1.5, it doesn't really matter. But with fractions, I find it's a little bit better to leave it as fractions with these equations, okay? So the gradient of this line is the number in front of x, which is negative 2/3 or negative 1.5, whichever. Okay, remember that negative goes with that there. And then we got the y-intercept, which is the number on its own, which is 6. If there's no symbol in front of it, no sign in front of it, assume it's a positive. Now, finally, we've got the nastiest one of all because everything is on the same side and we've got a 0 over here. But I've got negative 2y, and I don't have negative y up here, so I don't want a negative 2y, I want a positive y. So how do I get rid of that negative? Well, I'm going to actually add 2y onto both sides. And I've got 5x, I've got minus 3 because that's now disappeared, and the negative 2y becomes plus 2y on the other side of the equals, doesn't it? Again, I've got two y's, I don't want two y's, I want one y. So divide by 2, and I've got, once again, a fraction, and again I've got a fraction, and don't be put off by the fact that y is on the right hand side, it makes no difference. And here we go, the number next to x is the gradient, so 5/2 or 2.5, totally up to you. Y-intercept is negative 3/2 or negative 1.5. So when you see something like this as equation of lines, you're asked to find the gradient and the y-intercept. All you've got to do is get them in the form y equals mx plus c, with the y on its own and everything else on the other side.
Okay, Mary, so let's have a look at this one. So solve x plus 2x equals 12. So what do you think you do first?
Okay, well, I want x on its own, so I would put x equals 12 minus 2x.
Okay, so a lot of the time we want to get x by itself, but what we want to do first is get all of these x's together. So can you see anything we can do with this? Get all these together in one place.
Oh, okay, it's 3x, isn't it?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
3x equals 12. Oh, and so x equals 4.
Brilliant, spot on, well done.